Here we are again. Today is May the 9th, 2025. You can see it's cloudy again. It's windy. It's kind of cool. I don't know exact temperatures, but we just had a front go through yesterday. Well, actually late last night, early this morning. Yesterday, we were under a slight risk. It was an interesting slight risk because it's the first time that I can remember being under a 15% hatched for large hail. We had a 2% tornado risk. We had a 5% damaging wind risk. And we had a 15% hatched for large hail over our area, all the way from all of East Tennessee, I think part of eastern Middle Tennessee, part of western and central North Carolina, northern Georgia, and northern Alabama. We don't see a lot of large hail here. Hail is really not something that we see a lot of. Maybe we get it once or twice a year, sometimes none. So yesterday we had multiple supercells fire up, and we had a lot of damaging hail, some as large as baseballs here in my county. Just east of us, we had a very strong supercell. Now, I didn't get any video of it because I was at work, and I drove through one at the end of the day that looked like a classic tornadic supercell. It did. I mean, it was the classic large hail at the northeast and northwest part of it, and curving around to the wrapped up looking supercell. It didn't keep that characteristic very long, but it was interesting to see on radar and kind of nerve-wracking as well. What is that? Is that a gopher hole? But anyway, we did have large hail. We had a lot. I think the what do you call it? Storm reports showed excessive amounts of hail. And like I said, we had some large hail in Monroe County. Actually, we was on the Weather Channel and a lot of other places that showed extreme amounts of large hail. I've never experienced gorilla hail, as Reed Timmer puts it, but I have experienced, I think the biggest I've seen is golf ball size, actually ping pong, I would say, and that was in Loudoun County when I was a rent-a-cop out there. But most of it's been like marble and lower is what I've seen in my life. We haven't seen a lot of large hail here. But we had what do you call it? We had a lot of hail. Like I said, you look at the storm reports, there was a lot. So that was the first time that I've ever seen us in a 15% hatched for large damaging hail there. Now, like I said, when I left work, we were having that storm that looked classic supercell that was fired up. If we would have had any, because I looked at the parameters and the helicity was like at 100. Now that's enough for a spin-up tornado. But the bulk shear winds were like at 30 knots. That's right at the low end threshold for it. That's the reason a lot of our storms did not have any damaging wind, because the bulk shear winds were really low. They had 40 knots back to the west of us and the southwest of us. But here we was in the 30 knot range with 100 helicity. So it really wasn't, that's the reason we had a 2% tornado risk. You know, we had a chance for any spin ups, but it really didn't happen. Most of it was large hail. And that's rare here. That is really rare. You don't see that kind of, weather here. So that was a first that I remember of. I mean, of course, I'm sure there in the past there has been. Delilah, what are you looking at, girl? She's like, I ain't looking at nothing because I'm blind. She's like, I'm listening. But anyways, that all come through. We had multiple supercells fire and we had multiple hailers. And we didn't have really any damaging wind. I drove through, I guess what you would call a notch. You know, it come around, you know, like the classic supercell. You have the main part of it, which have usually large hail and, you know, maybe some damaging winds. And then it wraps around to a point where it's the hook. And I think I drove through the notch, which had large hail in it. Well, it wasn't large. I would say that it really started out, that was the start of the baseball size hail that hit Tallahassee, which is just east of us. It's still in our county, but it's east of us, out there towards Cityco Beach and stuff like, or Cityco and stuff like that. And they had baseball size hail. That storm was the start of it, and I drove through it. And at that time, it was, I'd say dime size hail, maybe nickel, because it pounded my window there for a little bit. And then it went to it got bigger as it moved east. We had plenty of Cape. If I remember right, I think we had right around 1,500 joules per kilogram of Cape. And we had, like I said, helicity was at 100, and bulk shear was 30 knots. It was low, so damaging wind wasn't really much of a problem. We had a few that probably went up to like 60. We got plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings, and we actually had some hail here. I would say, what do we have here? It's probably dime size here last night, the next storm that moved in. We had some dime size hail and some pretty good downpours. Actually, by our rain gauge, of course I poured it out now, but it showed 4.5 inches of rain. So I mean, it was pretty high there. So we had some pretty good, it was an interesting weather setup. And yes, I was a little bit nervous about the 2%. So as you can see, how everything's bushed out. Definitely have late spring, and we got into a setup yesterday where the East Tennessee area and the Middle Tennessee first started out being over East Tennessee, and it was projected to be large hail with 0 chance for tornadoes. And then the day of, it pretty much expanded to a bigger slight risk, and they put in the 15% hatch for hail and bumped it up to a 2% for tornadoes. But that tornadoes really wasn't a problem. You can see I had to mow the yard again, so it's typical spring, late spring. And like I said, it's just the 1st of May, and I've been seeing that early signals again for a pretty, I don't know if it's going to be a major or not, severe weather outbreak. I mean, it's too far out to really tell with that. The 15th, I think, 15th through something there of May is supposed to be a pretty good outbreak. It looks like, as of right now, West Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, most of the Midwest, or the Mid-Atlantic, I guess, Ohio, Indiana. It's a broad area right now, and it's too far out really to tell. Here's this, looks like a mess. Oh, some of them are starting to bud out. That's pretty. There's that walnut tree still in there. So that paint didn't do any good. There's a big pulp there. And I can't really weed eat. I'll have to cut this out again this coming fall and cut it down and figure out something else to do. If I can keep it clean, I can keep that pretty much. Now some of them are really busted out. So, but we'll see what this next severe weather setup, where it lands at, where exactly it lands. Said it's supposed to be a pretty good stretch of, a pretty good stretch of severe weather from the 15th to the 24th or something like that. I mean, you really can't tell just how it showed Supercell Composites for that time frame as being really broad. You know, a lot of, could be an active stretch. You can't really go by exact. You don't know if you're going to be in it or not. You know, it's hard to tell exactly where everybody lands at on there. It could be us, it could be west of us, it could be north of us, it could be out in the plains, it could be anywhere in the area. You know, it could be down in, you know, Mississippi, it could be in Arkansas, the main focal point of it. But it's not an exact science on that. You know, CIPS, which is some kind of severe weather parameter thing for kind of long distance stuff, that would shows, you know, extreme supercellular, you know, we'll just have to see where it lands at. The National Weather, or the Storm Prediction Center puts out something, you know, in advance. You know, my next videos or whatever, I'll be going over them if anything pops up, you know. But I got this weekend off, so I'm gonna enjoy the weekend. It'll be around the 10th when that, it'll be 5 days out from the 15th, and you can't tell exact. You know, you just say there is something going to maybe possibly happen. Some severe stretches of severe weather. Doesn't mean it's going to be exact. It's just we'll have to see where we land at it, if anything. Now, May, typically, we do get into some setups. You know, not extreme ones. Not yet, anyways. I mean, I'm trying to think. Last year was not for us. It was mostly in the plains. I mean, we got into a few setups, but nothing really big. So we'll see where it is. Mom's gotta get more dirt for this one. She's already got that one for her tomatoes. I don't know what she's putting in here. And then I got one more to build up there. And I'll build that probably, could be this evening, late this evening or tomorrow. I'll go ahead and build it, set it out there. And she's gonna set it over there, and Wrinkles can raise his leg up and pee right on it. On both of them. But see, Bo and them, a little bit climbs up in there and takes a dump in there. Don't know why, she just does. You can see this rose bush here, really bloomed out. Really grew up a lot. Looks good. You can see how they've grown really tall. Seen that one out there. They look pretty good. Oh, Gemma, what are you doing? She's like, I'm waiting for you to go back in. Mom's supposed lemon tree. And then Crystal, of course, yesterday they got beat up pretty good with the hailstorm that we had. I mean, all the petals were knocked off and stuff. There's our banana tree. Still growing good. None of it got really hurt bad. A few of them, you can see it got a little bit broke. This one out here, I mean, like I said, we didn't have really extreme damaging hail here. We just had, you know, nickel, dime, you know, quarter. I think out there at Michaela's house, they got quarter. Here's another one there. It looks like it's getting eat up with something though. I think she had quarter up to maybe ping pong size hail. I remember her posting a picture on Facebook showing Matthias holding up a big hailstone. It looked like it was probably about ping pong size. So there's some mushrooms. I ran over them the last time. Okay, I've been stepped on. But yeah, Delilah. She's like, what? Wrinkles. She's like, I'm not even paying attention to you. What you doing, Delilah? Doing all right? What is it? What was that? Did you hear that? There it is again. She's like, I don't see nothing. I hear stuff. Oh. But anyway, this evening, me and CJ are going to go fishing again. He's wanting to go fishing. Not really sure where to go because I don't want to go somewhere where we don't have a lot of room. Kefauver seems to provide really good room for what do you call it? For fishing with lures, and I'm not really sure how to do it with lures in a small area. But like I said, this is my progression video. I just figured I'd do one to say, you know, tell about the significant hail that we had yesterday around our area, which was unusual. Like I said, a 15% hatch is unusual in our area. Usually we do not see that. I remember, I think it was last year, we had multiple storms fire up here, and most of it was just heavy rain and some, you know, some damaging wind. But up there towards the northeast Tennessee, like Bean Station and places like that, they had like baseball size hail, softball size hail out there. I think that was under a moderate risk. Up there in northeast Kentucky and places like that, they had a moderate risk. I think we was under a 10% hatched for tornadoes, but we didn't I don't remember, I don't think we had any tornadoes, but I mean, we did have, there was some large hail there, but you just don't see that 15% hatch for large hail in our area. Like I said, we see hail at least once, maybe twice a year here. But sometimes we'll go a couple of years without seeing nothing like that. So it's not really much of a problem. But it was just, that was rare for us. So anyway, I figured I'd make a progression video, go over yesterday and, you know, the future setups that we could have, and show you everything. You can see them extreme amounts of honeysuckles down there. They're really taking over down there. I gotta snip that down with the limbs hanging down because they hit me in the face when I try to mow. See, honeysuckles are taking over right over here. Oh, right there, and it's hard to see it going up that power pole. Trying to move this stuff out of the way. Going all the way up that power pole there. You can see them over there. It's going up that. Plenty of honeysuckle. A lot of vines over here. I think these will all bust out into honeysuckle too. Those idiot dogs again. Yeah, I just snipped that off right there. And that one right there so I can clear these limbs out where they're not hitting me. There goes them dogs. They're super annoying. Usually I'll burn them up with a BB gun where they'll go away because I don't want them around the house. Because one, they attack the cat, and two, they eat all the cat food. Stuff like that, they'll eat all that stuff. Go home! He's like, I ain't even paying attention to you. Try to get them to go home, Aaron. I don't want to shoot them, but I mean, they attack a little bit. I don't know. I think I had it in one of my videos where she had a really big wound on her side there. It's just now starting to grow hair pretty good. So, it's not on this side. It's on the other side. Quickly show it. Yeah, right there you can see on her side where they attacked her. Out of here. Where they attacked her. So I've tried to keep them away. Oh, let's go see what time it is. I'll let them run around before I have to leave to go get CJ. I know it was 1 o'clock. Let's see what time it is now. Well, it's just 1:25. But anyway, figured I'd make my video. I just wanted to show what's going on. I like to enjoy myself. They're in Murphy right now, so they're not here. So it's just me. I'm sitting here watching movies on the Roku. Watching Saving Private Ryan. I ain't watched that in a long time, so I figured I'd watch it. But I figured, I'll take the dogs out and let them run around for a little while and make a progression video, just showing, how it's going, what was going on yesterday and the future also. Might be future videos. And like I said, usually during severe weather, it's hard to make videos during it because I'm glued to the radar or I'm scrolling through X for any kind of information or looking at parameters. So, and I didn't have time to make a screen recording video because it was, I was at work. So I really couldn't, make a video. I should have made a video of the outlook and, what it showed and everything, but I was at work, and on my breaks I usually watch, movies or TV, or I talk to people, and usually I'm working, so I don't have time to make anything. So I had to make it today. I could go back and show some videos and pictures. I might do that. A little later I might make a video of the look back at the day one, and, show some videos of some of the hail that was around. I might do that there. Because I still ain't played a lot with that screen recorder a lot. I've done it a little bit during April or March the 15th and April the 2nd high risk, but I ain't really done it anymore. I'll probably do that later. I gotta upload this video. The problem that I have is I'll make a progression video, and then I'll go back or I won't upload it. Like, say I make one Sunday, well, it might be Tuesday or Wednesday before I upload it, and then it shows the date on that I uploaded it, and then the video says a different date, and they're like, well, that was 3 days ago, Well, I mean, it's, I just, sometimes I forget they're on there, and then I'm like, well, there it is. There's the video. I just forgot to upload it. So I'll upload this one now, and then a little bit later I'll do a screen recording of, now I don't think I can do the radar because I didn't take pictures of it or nothing. But I do have multiple pictures of the Mammatus clouds that I caught yesterday, 2 of them, from the same storm. So I'll probably do that. Well, I'll see you in the next video.